Diver explains the Paria Pipeline Disaster 2022. Hello, fellow diving enthusiasts and curious minds. Today, we're gonna talk about the Paria Pipeline Disaster of 2022. It was a really tragic event, so let's dive right in. It's a peaceful February day in the Gulf of Korea, and there are 5 courageous divers getting ready for a maintenance mission. Little do they know, their day is about to take a tragic turn. Let's dive into the details and really grasp what happened on that fateful day. Picture yourself standing along the beautiful coastline of Trinidad and Tobago, taking in the breathtaking view of the Gulf of Korea stretching out before you. You won't believe what's hiding beneath the calm waters. There's a massive 30-inch pipeline just waiting to spring into action. So this conduit was given the important task of carrying something really valuable: oil, which is like the lifeblood of our modern society. In the summer of 2021, LMCS Limited, this professional diving services company, got this really important task. They had to bring this dormant lifeline back to life. So basically, this pipeline was super important for moving oil from these huge ships docked at berth number 6 to a massive processing facility on land in Korea. The mission seemed pretty simple at first glance, but little did we know that there were some dark secrets lurking in that pipeline. And boy, were we in for a tragic surprise. Imagine this, it's February 2022, a chilly day that will forever be remembered as a day of reckoning. So there was this group of adventurous divers who were all ready to go on an exciting journey to the heart of the Gulf of Korea. They had their skills and equipment all set and were super pumped for the adventure. There were a few skilled professionals named Faisal, Rishi, Yusuf, and Chris, who all had a love for the deep blue. Christopher Bodrum, the safety diver, joined the team. So where were they going? You're talking about the place where all the secrets of this pipeline were kept. They hopped on a barge that took them to the spot where the pipeline was located. But little did they know, that place would be the beginning of a life-altering journey for them. Their mission was pretty straightforward. They needed to weld a critical section onto the pipeline's riser, which is a really important part of the whole network. But what's really interesting is the cool workspace they walked into. Just picture an upside-down bucket, creatively named as a habitat. You know, this seemingly simple contraption actually had a pretty clever secret. It was filled with air, and to get this, the air was pumped in super carefully from a compressor on the barge above. This design is absolutely brilliant. It creates a dry haven below the surface of the sea, providing a safe refuge for divers to carry out their tasks. The divers, all geared up in their scuba gear, made their way into this amazing sanctuary. They dove down below the surface, entering a world filled with air. Faisal, Rishi, Yusuf, and Chris sneaked under the edge of the habitat and popped up inside. They were so skilled and well-trained that they didn't even bring their scuba gear. Instead, they bravely entered a world where they relied on their confidence and caution rather than oxygen tanks. So their mission started by taking off a steel plate and some plugs that were blocking the way to the pipeline's core. But, you know what? As the divers were doing their thing, something unexpected happened. It was like fate had a wicked sense of humor. Something really creepy happened, in fact. The pressure inside the pipeline suddenly got all messed up. It was such a crazy and devastating event. It was so powerful that it was hard to even understand what was happening. What was the consequence? These divers got sucked into the pipeline. It was so intense and unforgiving. The very conduit they were trying to fix ended up trapping them, throwing them into a terrifying nightmare. So how on earth did this horrifying incident happen? Well, let's get into the mechanics. So when you take out the last plug at the top of the pipeline, the air pressure changes a lot. So what's the result? When the air from the habitat rushes into the pipeline, it sets off a whole chain of things happening one after another. So basically what happened was that there was another plug further down the pipe that might have failed because of the sudden increase in pressure. And this caused a chain reaction that sent the divers being pushed into a rush of water. In the middle of all the chaos, Chris Bodrum, the safety diver, found himself in a truly unimaginable situation. Oh no, he had to leave his injured colleagues behind to go get help. He was crawling back up the pipeline, all injured and battered, and he called out for help. So Michael Corbin, a colleague, and another rescuer, they all ended up hearing Chris's desperate cries. They all worked together and were able to rescue Chris, who was the only one to survive the disaster. But the story wasn't finished yet. As soon as people heard about the disaster, a huge rescue operation started right away. But let me tell you, it wasn't an easy task at all. It felt like a real struggle, with the humans fighting against the tough challenges that nature threw at them. It must have been really intense trying to reach these trapped divers. It sounded like there was a lot of difficult challenges that made it even harder. The rescuers were holding their breath as they tried to go down into the depths of the pipeline, hoping to reach the trapped divers. But the pipeline that caught them was also a big obstacle. There were obstacles and debris in the way, so the rescuers had to think about their strategies again. Yeah, safety was a major concern. The risks for the rescuers were definitely undeniable. The pipeline, it's like it wants to keep its secrets and prisoners hidden away forever. Chris Baudrum was the only one left, and he held on to hope with all of his might. He begged the rescue mission to keep going. As the clock kept ticking, days started to pass by, and with each moment that went by, hope seemed to fade away. It's been 2 tough days, and the silence has been so painful for everyone involved. It feels like it's echoing in our hearts. The hope of a successful rescue started to fade away, and instead, we had to face a harsh reality that required a difficult change of plans. As the rescue operation was going on, they had to make a tough decision. So instead of holding on to the daring hope of a rescue, the focus is now shifted to the somber duty of recovery. You could really feel the pain and struggle in making this decision. It was a tough realization that the pipeline had caused harm to people. It was really sad to see the shift from rescue efforts to body recovery. It felt like a dark cloud had come over the operation, which had started with so much hope and determination. In the midst of all the pain and sadness, the rescuers and grieving families found a small bit of comfort to hold on to. Finally, after days filled with uncertainty and struggle, they were able to recover the bodies of the 4 divers who tragically lost their lives. It was like this gave some closure to the families who were holding on to hope, but it also meant that the brave battle against impossible odds was finally over. The divers who were originally on a mission to do maintenance work are now on a journey towards eternal rest. In the midst of all the despair, there was still a glimmer of hope: Chris Baudrum's survival. His story really shows how incredibly strong people can be when they face tough challenges. His determination to keep going, his ability to stay strong, and his eventual victory over the difficult situation really bring a ray of hope to this dark story. Their story really hits home, even beyond just that pipeline. It makes you think about the huge risks and challenges that explorers and professionals willingly take in extreme environments, doesn't it? As we keep delving into the incredible resilience of the human spirit, we take a moment to pay tribute to those who have passed and the valuable lessons they've taught us. So as we finish up our discussion on the Paria pipeline disaster of 2022, let's take a moment to honor the brave divers who lost their lives and the incredible courage they showed. Incidents like these really make us realize how complex and dangerous underwater activities can be. It just goes to show how important it is for us to conduct thorough investigations, follow safety protocols, and keep learning within the diving community. That brings us to the end of today's video, but we appreciate you spending time with us today. Make sure you like and share our video with any fellow explorers out there, and subscribe to our channel to get more great updates from us. Also, we want you to please remember to stay curious and to stay safe out there. Thanks for watching today's video, and we'll see you next time.